All right. Well, today I am out here and I'm trying to, as always, I guess, I'm trying to get a lot of stuff running. But this time I'm trying to get some stuff running, save some engines that I want to save, and start getting rid of some of this stuff. I need to make some room, right? But I'm looking at what I have, and I have a lot of, I guess they're standalone Honda engines, right? I have some gas-powered compressors that have the Honda engine in them. I have a couple of power washers that are non-operable. One of them I know has a bad pump. The other one I don't know yet. It's just a standalone piece. It looks like it was mounted to something at one point. It was probably mounted something like in the back of a truck or something. And looking at all these Honda engines, it's like, all right, I'm going to get some of these running, whether I use them for a replacement or if I decide to, I have a golf cart that I might replace the engine in. I have a pretty large Honda, I guess it's the, what is it, about a 13 horsepower Honda engine's pretty sizable. I might swap that out, coming soon, but who knows. But right now I'd just like to get them running. And I know a few of them, the gas tanks are pretty filthy inside. I have to drain them out, get rid of all the rust, and I'm sure the carburetors are just shot, right? So in that case, well, let me show you what I'm going to do with these carburetors. And by the way, look what we have over there. We got a new one. She's about 5 months old. Yeah, we've only had her, how many days? 2, maybe 3 days, I forget. We got her out of a animal shelter. And so the puppy is still coming out. She hasn't fully let through yet. Well, here's one of them. You can see this is the GX200, the Honda GX200 engine on it, and you can see it is used to be a power washer, and it's just not on the stand anymore. That one's on there. That one, I think it's a GX, was it the 360, I believe? Pretty massive engine, 13 horsepower. And I know that one I had started in the past, but it's been sitting there for a long time. This one, when I got it, it was in bad shape. I know yeah, you can see it's just full of rust down in there. It's full of water, full of rust. And so this one, I'll take it apart. I'm sure I can get it running. I just have to flush out the tank, get rid of all the rust, and you can see the fuel line is on, so I'm sure that carburetor is just caked up in there. And the last time I saw one like that, I just replaced the whole carburetor. Because you can get them at a fairly good price. I know I have another one of these. It is on a gas-powered air compressor. Actually, I have a couple of them. I need to replace the carburetor on those too. And I have one that I'm going to keep myself. I did a past video on it. And this is what I'm trying to decide what to do. I know I'm going to have to replace the carburetor on a couple of these, and if I'm going to replace the carburetor, I was looking at this. This is the dual fuel setup. And you can see it's the carburetor, the and there's for the propane hookup. And you can see they're just easy to install. It's just you take the old carburetor off and boom, bolt this one right in. And so this unit is pretty sharp. It all comes pre-assembled, and you can see it's just super easy to install. This comes from HIPA, HIPA, and you can find it on Amazon, and I'll include a link to it. I've always had pretty good luck with HIPA products, especially the carburetors. I've put numerous these Honda carbs, replacement carburetors on them, and they're very good quality. I've always had pretty good luck with them. So I was kind of pleased to see this come out, and I'm sure I'm going to be using a lot more. So I know I have that one generator over there, but it has a Briggs & Stratton on it. I have another generator at another property of ours, and if I'm not mistaken, that has the Honda engine on it, and I'm going to put one of these on there. And this, they do have two styles. They have one for that'll cover the GX160, GX200, and then the larger one's the GX360 and up. And the larger one actually has the fuel solenoid. You can see on the bottom, but this one doesn't. It'll carry a lot more fuel. This one's made for the smaller, the GX160s, GX200s, stuff like that. So, well, that's it. I will include a link and check them out. Yeah, if I had a generator with one of these, with a Honda engine on it, then yeah, I'd be converting this in a heartbeat. That's usually where you see them, and it makes sense. I mean, you know, you're in a generator, you know, a possible, you know, emergency situation, and you want to be able to have the dual fuel, right? Well, a lot of times with the gas compressors, it's not a state of emergency, but it's just you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know, and you use your compressor out there, and it's handy to have the dual fuel, right? So I'm debating whether to just go ahead and rebuild these engines that I just showed you and have one set up for dual fuel, or should I just go ahead and do one of these gas compressors, or maybe the one I'm going to keep and go ahead and use this, convert it over, and we'll see what happens, because it is super easy to do. So I know I'm going to do more than one. I'll probably go ahead and do my gas compressor whenever I take it out to the ranch. We don't have any power out there. I'm totally off the grid, right? And it comes in handy to have this dual fuel. And, well, let's see. What should I do, huh? I think, well, let me pull out my gas compressor and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, so there's my gas compressor. It's actually a roll air that I had restored, repainted everything, and I do have a past video on that. This thing, it is running pretty well, but you can see it has the Honda. This one has the GX160, so 5.5 horsepower, and that engine over there was the GX200 at 6.5 horsepower. So this will work on either one. That one I'll have to check for clearance. You can see the handle that sticks up. I don't think that would get in the way. It'll be awfully close. I'll just have to pull this out and we can hold it up there and see. I'm just undecided on which engine I'm going to put this on. I might go ahead and put it on this one, because I know, I mean, I'm going to have to replace that carburetor anyway, so I might as well clean it all up. I'll go ahead and put this on there, and that engine will be running and ready to go. And if I decide to, if I decided that I don't need this on there, you can see how easy this is, just on and off. It's just, you just unbolt the old carburetor and bolt this one back in. So it's an easy swap. If I decide to swap it later, I can. I think that's what I'll do. Let me start cleaning this sucker up, and we'll see if we can get it running. So I think I'm going to just start taking this sucker apart. At least I'm going to get the carburetor off. I'm going to take the spark plug off, because this feels like, you know, the pull rope assembly needs to come off and be re-oiled or whatever, but I can see it's kind of hard to pull. I want to pull the spark plug and make sure this sucker isn't just frozen. So first, let me get the carburetor off. If I can get down here. Now I dumped everything out of the gas tank. I just turned it over, dumped it, and put some evapor rust in there. So while I'm doing all this, at least it's soaking. But I am going to go ahead and take it off and try to get as much rust out of there as I can. Alright, well, that looks pretty gnarly. So there's a lot of rust on there, and yeah, just a lot of carbon and a lot of rust. I hope, let's pull on this now that there's no compression. Yeah, we're gonna have to oil that down. Oops. Let me spray some I'm going to spray some WD-40 in there, or some kind of release agent, and hopefully we'll get it to turn over once I take all this off, and we'll crank it over. Alright. Got a little WD-40 in there. While we're in here, let's take this pull rope assembly off. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But while I have the WD-40 out, and you can just hear it creaking in there, but hopefully this will loosen things up a little bit. Well, it's getting there. You let that soak. If you ask me, I think the pull rope is too large in diameter, too thick. And once it reaches a point, like right there, you can see where it's binding. There we go. So it's just at that one level, I'm sure, where the piston wire just sat there forever. So it probably just had that one ring we had to bring through to break through. But there's plenty of WD-40 in it, so hopefully that's not didn't scrape up the cylinder that much. But I doubt if it does. I can hear the compression. With all this out of the way, I'll go ahead and take the gas tank off. It's just I think it's one bolt here and maybe two on the other side. And what else? Carburetor will be off. Then I'll take the valve cover off and we'll take a look at the valves. God, that choke is just frozen. Whew! Look at that. That's a nice looking carburetor there, huh? Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to be like that. And so we'll just replace it. Alright. Let's see if we can get some of that off. I'm going to pinch off this fuel hose. And there's a gasket. This is not budging. Let's see if I can force it. There we go. I have to take the linkage off. Man, that is nasty looking. What's worse, looks like a lot of it got in the into the intake. So that's probably why one of the valves are sticking. This rust is going way down in there. So that WD-40 will break some of it up, make cleaning a little easier down the line. Let's see what else. I guess I will think I will take the gas tank off. I don't think I need to take this cover off to do that. No, it should come off, and the fuel line should come right out. I'll just have to turn it on its side. I believe there's two on this side. Yep, 1, 2. Well, I didn't have to worry about the fuel hose. Wasn't even connected. You can tell it's clogged because this thing is full. You can hear it. I filled it with evapor rust. So, yeah, that sucker needs a good cleaning. And there's the other end of the hose. I'll probably be replacing that whole hose. It looks like it's split in quite a few places. And so we can take a quick look while all this is out of the way. Let's take a quick look and see how this is going to fit. So you can see it just slides right on. So the only difference, so this hose will be going straight in. So this one, you can see it had the fuel shut off. This one does not. We'll have to switch over. This is for the choke. That fits through here. Well, they had this piece for the choke. We can take right off, but you can see if you try to slide that in there, I mean, it's just in the way. So we'll pop this one off. Do the same with this. So this one should fit. Yep, that fit right in. So now we can put it on, and your choke lever is still operational. Alright, and it'll fit right into that slot. Yep, if I can get it in there. Yeah. So the only thing they'll be missing is the fuel shutoff. Alright, so I think I'm going to let this tank sit here overnight and hopefully get a bunch of that rust converted out of there. And so I can spin this around a little bit. Let's get this valve cover off, because this one has been sitting around for a long time. You know, it's just time to do something with it. Well, it just came right off. Well, let's take a look. You see what I'm doing there? Here's the valves. Yeah, that's top dead center. Yeah, that's pretty loose. Yep, I think they're okay. Well, good deal. So I can always come back and adjust them when I'm ready, once we get it running. Then we'll see about fine-tuning it, right? But for now, I'm just going to put it back on there until... Alright, I guess I'll go ahead and mount the carburetor, and then we'll hook up that auxiliary fuel line. One thing this didn't come with, there were no gaskets. That kind of disappointed me. But luckily these are still pretty tough, so. Alright, so you can see I just hacked that little plastic piece off of there. Surprisingly brittle. And put a fuel clamp on there. It looks like there's no leaks. Alright, so I got the fuel tank in my chair there, I believe. Yeah, it's a tiny bit higher, so it should be filling full of fuel. Alright. So I kind of shortened the pull a little bit, and I gave one more wind, one more wind around to tighten it up a little bit. But let's see if it'll even try to crank here. Okay, so choke is still on. That is on. Oh, I saw some exhaust. Alright. Boy, everything's just moving all over the place. Sorry, dog. I think it's going to take a few times. There was a lot of carbon buildup and everything around and rust and all that good stuff. But at least we know it's about to crank. And I think I scared my dog off. I think that's the first time she heard an engine. Okay, I'm back at it. I had to take a break there. You can see I put some clamps down here on these motor mounts there. Try to sturdy it a little bit, maybe a little bit easier to start. Let's see. Choke is on. that did it. So this is the gas tank, and you can see I found a hole down here where it rusted through, and I sealed it with epoxy, and it's holding really well. But I think there is another hole like back in here underneath somewhere that's hard to get. I can't even tell where it's at, but when I'm sloshing it around, yeah, so it's still leaking somewhere right down in here at the tank. So that kind of sucked. I spent a lot of time trying to get all the rust out of there. So I guess I'll either replace the tank, or once I clean all the inside of it out, and what's that? Isn't there a coating you can put inside of a tank? I've done it on a motorcycle before. I forget the name of it, but and that way it seals the inside, coats all that rust, keeps it all from coming through. I just don't know how big the hole is, right? So I would hate to put that stuff in there and try to get it sealed when it's not really covering the hole, you know. What else? What do you think, girly? Huh? What do you got? You're chewing in everything. Oh, this is another thing I saw. So I was always thinking, well, should I keep this operating as a water pump, a pressure washer, or whatever? And I started inspecting the pump, and it looks okay. I mean, it looks like it's been out in the weather, of course, but I was going to check for oil. This is the plug, and it is just bone dry, right? And when I looked over to see it's supposed to be a level right here, and it's just wide open. So there is no oil in there, and I don't know if it's seized up. Well, the motor's going fine. Usually if it seizes up, then the engine kind of is hard to run. But I'll probably just I'll probably take the fixtures off of this one and put it onto this one and see if it'll work, because I know it's got oil in it, and this one's that massive engine. What is it, the GX390, I believe? But that's what's missing here is these two fixtures. So I'll probably swap it over and see if that'll work before, you know, I decide, because I did want to. I mean, that's a huge engine. I did want to do like a go-kart or some other kind of project, or transplant that over to this gas golf cart. Yeah, who knows? But at least it's running. So I think this one would be kind of cool to put this larger engine in the golf cart and have it dual fuel and all that good stuff. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so all right, at least we know that it is running. There are a few more fixes to take a look. I'll decide what to do with the pumps on it. Don't know if I'm going to keep these as pressure washers or not. But at least I know I have a couple of good engines here, right? So I'll keep these. I'll move on to the next project. I want to get some of these done this year, you know. Get some of this stuff out of here, you know what I mean? But that was cool. So it's running. I guess I'll tackle this larger Honda next. You know, and I'm sure, I know I had started it at one point or another, but I'll just make sure. If it's not running, then we'll see what's wrong with it, right? So I guess that's it for this video. We got one running. That's great. It was in pretty bad shape, you got to admit. It was pretty rusted and just been sitting out in the weather for who knows how many years. but it's up and running, and one of these days I'll use it. But I guess that's it. So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch for my next video.